I don't think I'm a Thousand Island person.
Yeah, I got to be in the mood for it, but
It's just suspicious. Like how can you have 1,000 islands in one dressing?
Thousand Islands, one of them has got to be Epstein Island.
Imagine being on a bus riding home with a trash bag full of mashed potatoes.
Coworker was going for high heat for her turkey. Put the oven on self-clean. Oven locked, and hours later, charcoal. While your targets are on fire, breathing their last breath.
Like ass.
They'll also be like, oh, what's that smell? Like, that'll be the last thing they think before they die. What is cracking, dude? What's cracking in your world?
I haven't given you shit about your socks in at least a few episodes, so I feel like
really? I feel like it was just like an episode ago.
I think the
Am I due already?
You're pretty due, man. At least on one side.
Yeah, I mean, at least last time it was like this. They were symmetrical. They were both equally bad, and they kind of matched. This is not even close.
Versus me, I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks per foot.
Why? For heat?
No, because I have 1 pair of socks that's very, very thin and kind of fragile.
Yeah.
But it's socks that are made with silver thread.
Okay.
So they're normal textile like cotton or synthetic, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like 40% of the actual fabric is made with silver thread.
Gotcha.
And that has the effect of
better for like
virtually
odor, right?
eliminating foot odor.
I need that.
The trade-off is they're very sheer.
Yeah.
It's very thin fabric. They're actually made for grounding, which is a whole other thing that I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
But functionally, I use them for the silver that's in the fabric, and then the other socks I wear over them, just to be socks. Like,
okay.
It's like I'm wearing underwear for my feet.
Gotcha. That's pretty nice. Wait, how expensive are silver socks?
I think what I got was, I want to say 3 pairs for $40.
Okay. So a little on the pricier side, but hey, if it eliminates foot odor and you have an issue with that, which I definitely do, but it's also because I've been wearing the same pair of shoes for like 3.5 years.
Yeah, that'll do it too.
Yeah. I need to get new shoes.
Conversely, I wear the same pair of shoes, and that historically has been a problem for me.
Yeah.
But what I've found is that by wearing these socks, and I'll wear the same pair of socks for like 2-3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Like the underlayer of socks.
That's nice because they don't smell.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's like jeans, right? It's like I wear jeans for like weeks before.
Yeah. I mean,
because they don't smell.
These will go 2-3 days and still be totally neutral smelling.
Okay. Then they're effectively like 1 pair of these socks is like taking the place of 3.
Yes.
That makes sense.
I'm wearing a set of other socks over them for comfort because they're not very cushiony by themselves.
Yeah.
And also to protect them from wear and tear because I have some older pairs where like there are patches where instead of skin showing, it's just like silver.
Gotcha.
Like it's worn out the actual cotton fabric.
Right.
But the metal thread it hasn't worn through the silver thread. So it's actually kind of cool looking.
Nice. That's cool. I feel like socks are relatively easy. It's easy to know when it's time to toss a pair of socks. I mean, it's not obvious to me, clearly.
When they stop bending.
It's not when they stop bending, sure. Clearly, I haven't figured it out yet, but I think most people have. What about for shoes? I feel like that's a more personal choice. It's like, when do you decide it's time for these shoes to go? Is there like an indicator?
When they're worn out, or when...
What level of wear? Because I know some people, it's like, they got a couple spots on them, they're like, it's time for a new pair. Other people, like me, I just let them go till they're just complete garbage.
Well, I've had shoes that I've worn through the soles on. I've had shoes where I've blown out like the sides or the toes
or the sole. Like sometimes the sole just gets messed up.
Yeah. I've never had a sole like fully delaminate, but that will happen with old dress shoes.
Yeah.
If you don't wear them regularly, you'll run into like dress shoes that like you'll wear them to a funeral or something, and they'll just be crumbling.
Oh wow.
And it's
probably
because
all of my 2 pairs of dress shoes are definitely that then.
I think it's polyurethane soles. If you don't wear them regularly, and not every day, but just like a few times a month or whatever.
Yeah.
moisture gets into the sole and it starts to react with the polyurethane and oxidizes it. So eventually, like, you can have a nice pair of dress shoes and you're like, these are nice dress shoes. I don't want to wear them all the time. I'm going to wear them for occasions that call for nice dress shoes.
Right.
And then because the soles are polyurethane, you don't wear them for 3 years. And then you pull them out for a special occasion, and halfway through, your soles are just crumbling. They're just shattering.
It's like a car. It's like you got to drive a car every now and then. Otherwise, it's just the battery's going to die. It's kind of funny, though. Then, like, you just wearing your dress shoes at random events. Like, you go to the beach, and you're like, why are you wearing tuxedo shoes? It's like, dude, this is proper maintenance. Chill out.
I think you could just wear them for a quick trip to the grocery store and probably be fine.
There's got to be some kind of spray or something to maintain that.
Probably. I mean, you could
shoe magic.
You could have you could spend a bunch of money and have like a vacuum chamber that you store your shoes in, and it just completely desiccates them. Removes all moisture. That would kill all bacteria, by the way.
That's another level of like. That's the next level of like I have my life together where I'm just nowhere near. I can't. That's when you start vacuum sealing things. I'm like, this person. If I go to a house and I see stuff that's vacuum sealed, I'm like, this person has their act together.
Not vacuum sealed, a vacuum chamber.
A vacuum even more.
So you're dropping
even more
you're
so.
dropping the pressure to like basically
God.
a vacuum. So
Good God.
that'll basically freeze dry.
Yeah.
You're not freezing it, but you're drying it essentially by having it at low pressure.
Yeah.
But that would be a very expensive to either buy or custom make. So
I don't think I'll ever.
If you have a hobbyist kind of bent, that you could go that direction. But
yeah.
Those vacuum pumps are very finicky.
I can't even. I think a wedding was the last time I wore nice shoes, and it was probably 2 years ago, maybe 2. So those shoes are probably toast if they're with that same polyurethane.
Yeah, I mean, go put them on and go to the grocery store and see if the soles start cracking.
They might just disintegrate the second I put them on. They might just disappear. They might just like evaporate.
Just Thanos snap out of existence.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they would actually do that, because then you would know. Like the second you put them on, you know they're bad.
Oh,
Instead, you go out for a nice night, and then all of a sudden your shoes start falling apart.
Suddenly you're barefoot in the middle of dinner. You're like, oh damn it!
Not again.
Suddenly I'm not in dress code at all.
Yeah.
I've fallen out of dress code.
So, I think the longest I've gone is, I don't know, maybe 3 years. I had some shoes that were, they were really tough. They were ugly as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, those two tend to coincide, but anyway.
Yeah.
They were not the business, but I didn't care. I just wore them. They got real stinky.
Yeah.
And I had to let them go on account of unredeemable stench.
Yeah.
But my current shoes, I've chosen to treat with Microban, which is a like disinfectant spray.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to endorse that because I'm not entirely sure that that's the safest thing to have in your shoes.
Right.
It's more of a like surface disinfectant.
Sure.
But, I'm going to get cancer sooner or later, if I live long enough. So
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
it does keep the stank out of my shoes along with my socks, so I'm quite happy with that combo.
Yeah, I mean, we're all going to get cancer eventually, because I mean, everything that we eat, everything that we consume does have some form of cancer-causing element. Everything around us, like every week, I see some new product pop up on like in an article where it's like there's a class action lawsuit. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of lead. Like they just found like there's a bunch of lead in Lindt. Lindt, the chocolate brand.
Which bums me out because that's good chocolate.
I'm like, I've eaten plenty of that. Mm-hmm. And then
between the COVID and the lead, I definitely lost a few IQ points in the last decade.
Yeah. Prime is another one. I drink Prime pretty regularly, not because I like the brand or I endorse who sells it.
But it's damn cheap.
But it's 66 cents at grocery outlet, and I can't pass that up. Compared to like $2.50 for a Red Bull.
The bad Prime was the hydration drinks.
Oh, okay. I drink that too, but I've slowed down on that. I've just been doing the caffeine one.
The caffeine one is actually not bad tasting, and it's cheap. So
yeah,
I can't talk down on you for drinking that.
But that's a good indicator what you said about like when it's time for a pair of shoes to go. Like that's it for me. Is what you said was unredeemable stench. When it's just like, all right, these are.
Have you ever put your shoes
forever.
in the freezer?
No,
that's the thing.
Okay. I can see that.
You put them in, you seal them up in like a plastic bag, throw them in the freezer for at least a few days.
Yeah.
That tends to kill off a lot of the stuff that's in there.
That's a nice tip.
But the other thing that can help is if you swap out the insoles.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Because the insoles can, over time, they can really build up a lot of like just byproducts and from sweat and stuff, and they can actually be like a big colony of nasty things.
Right.
Like you're wearing petri dishes that you walk in.
Yeah.
So if you swap the insoles out and you give your shoes a run through the freezer, that can be very refreshing because now you're not basically. I'm not gonna go further than that.
Yeah, I'm sure it also helps to have socks that don't have tons of massive holes in them, because that lets the odor slip out.
It's almost like you have a fetish for just like not wearing socks, and this is your halfway point where you're like, I'm abiding by societal norms, but I'm getting off at the same time.
Bare minimum, dude.
Like so if you didn't wear socks at all, you would notice. Like you would feel uncomfortable.
Like if I was just like in the house, around the house,
if you were wearing a pair of your shoes without socks.
Oh yeah, of course, it'd be terrible.
Huh?
They would stink up so faster than they already do.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare.
But comfort wise
would be not great either.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it feels bad. Wearing shoes without socks I would never do it.
But you have to do it.
I have. Yeah. I'm halfway there. Yeah, you're
so
right.
I guess the areas that experience the most wear and tear are the ball of your foot and your heel.
Yes.
In terms of friction, but
Exhibit A.
those are well adapted. So the other areas that are more sensitive to friction, like your ankles and your toes and stuff, those are still protected by the socks. So you're able to have your socks wear out, and it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah.
Even though it looks like ass trash.
Like I should be wearing my feet should be in fresh boxer briefs, but they're wearing thongs.
They're wearing assless chaps.
All right.
What you got?
What's moving on from the sock convo? We like to talk about socks a lot on the show,
bro.
I bring the heat. What are your Thanksgiving plans? Got anything good?
Hang out with the fam.
That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's
what's your family's protocol for Thanksgiving? Standard, all the fixins, turkey and stuffing.
Yeah, typically.
Nice. Mom cooks.
Yeah, but typically everyone pitches in to some degree.
Yeah. What's your contribution?
A lot of times we'll help out with the sauce, like gravy and stuff like that. Just making sure it's getting micromanaged appropriately as it's come together, or the cranberry sauce, stuff like that.
Does Dad do the carving?
Yes.
Yeah.
Traditionally.
Why is carving always it's always the dad?
Bro, it's the same reason why you have to anytime you pick up a pair of tongs, you have to go clunk clunk.
You got to do the double tap.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah, it is definitely a guy thing.
And when it comes to carving up meat, it's like,
yeah,
if you're the alpha of the household, you're carving that meat.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you identify the alpha on Thanksgiving. Is who's carving.
Yeah,
who's carving it up.
Especially if you're like the one who made the meat. If you got the meat and you seasoned it or brined it and then smoked it or however, if you're the one who put all that effort in, and then you're the one carving it, that's like double.
But I also feel like a lot of families, at least for mine, it's like my mom makes the turkey.
Yeah,
she cooks it, but then my dad will just come in last minute with the knife and just be the hero.
Yeah,
just take all the glory. Take all the glory.
It is, and I think I just want moms out there to know, you may if you feel like you're losing the glory of carving, at the end of the day, everybody still understands and appreciates the effort and hard work that you put into making that turkey taste amazing.
Exactly. It's not like if I take a bite of some juicy ass turkey, I'm like, Dad, you carved.
All credit to Dad.
Dad, you carved the juiciness into this thing.
Yeah.
It was your fine craft. It was your fine skill as a craftsman that made this flavor so good.
Part of carving though is a little bit of showing off your skill, because you can definitely screw up
for sure
when you're carving a nice piece of meat.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. Yeah.
You can turn it into just chunks of meat.
Yeah.
Or you can turn it into finely carved meat.
Yeah,
and there's a noticeable difference.
Right, exactly. It's the difference between.
I've definitely created some chunks of meat in my time.
For sure. I would never be able to work at like Fogo de Chao. Or like, let me just slice off this. It's like, why is this like cubed meat? You like turn this into carne asada, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you think is the most overrated Thanksgiving dish?
I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this.
Oh no, I don't want to hear it. Oh, I do want to hear it. What is it? I know I'm gonna pick a bone with you.
I don't want to say it, man.
You have to say it. You have to say it.
Sweet potato pie.
Okay, we're in agreement. Sweet potato. Well, because mine was gonna be.
I
candied
say
yams.
That. Well, isn't that kind of the same thing?
More or less. It's adding more sweetness to an already sweet vegetable.
I don't like sweet potatoes, period.
I've learned to like them. I've eaten them more in the last month than I probably ever have in my life.
I've gone through a phase like that.
But I like to season them in a way that's savory.
Yeah.
To balance out the natural sweetness of them. So to add like marshmallows and shit to it and like brown sugar, I'm just like, dude, this is so intense. Are you eating sweet potatoes
or are you eating yams?
Because sweet potato, I guess.
There is a difference.
Okay, I'm not cultured enough to know the difference. They're just two completely different.
If you look them up on Wikipedia or whatever.
Yeah.
Because high consumption of yams can actually potentially affect your hormone balance.
In a bad way.
For women, actually, possibly in a good way. For men, possibly in a not so good way.
Okay. Another reason to hate them. They're sexist. It's a sexist vegetable.
So I culturally, they were not part of my Thanksgiving growing up.
Yeah. Same.
I know they're a very essential part of some people's, and I don't deny the validity of that. I never developed a taste for them. I've had them before, and I'm okay with them. It's not like I don't. It's not like they taste disgusting to me. It's just there's nothing guiding my hand to the serving, serving utensil to get
exactly
that stuff when I see a big
And anytime I go to anyone else's Thanksgiving, historically, it's always been the one that's touched the least. There's like maybe one or two whales that will like chow down on it, and everyone else is like
whales in like the casino term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Good distinction. No, just like a couple fat aunts, dude. Just a few fat aunties just gobble it down, dude.
It's not the right flavor profile for me.
Yeah.
And especially with the marshmallow stuff on top.
It's too much. It's too aggressive.
It's gilding the lily.
It's like,
it's not even a lily I particularly care for in the first place.
Right. And it's like, what are you trying to be? Are you trying to be a dessert that's like sneaking its way onto the dinner plate? Mm-hmm. Or are you, trying to be a vegetable dish that's just overly sweet?
Now, if you could snap your fingers and just immediately conjure a Thanksgiving dinner at any time.
Yeah.
The difference being you have to choose between turkey or
ham.
I guess you could have ham in the running as well.
Yeah. I like turkey.
Or
I'm a
prime
turkey
rib.
fan. Oh, damn.
But
I would go with prime rib for sure.
But you're gonna like 90% of the time, but you're gonna change it up a little bit, or you're just gonna go prime rib every time.
The thing is, I do feel like turkey goes better with the other sides, like mashed potatoes and stuffing. Yeah. I think turkey does have its place there. I do like if it's just the meat standalone, then prime rib all the way. Dude. But in the context of a Thanksgiving meal, I do like my turkey. Here's another question that you just brought up.
Okay.
Do you prefer? Are you a white meat or a dark meat guy?
Dark meat.
Yeah. For turkey?
Yeah, I'll get mostly dark meat.
Yeah.
And then I'll get maybe like one large, slice of breast for the white meat portion.
Yeah.
So it kind of obscures the dark meat underneath because I'm hiding that.
Right.
But it's richer, it's more flavorful.
Okay.
That's what I go for. Like if I'm eating a half chicken, I'm gonna take it's gonna take some extra dip or something to get that chicken breast.
Sure.
To be vibing in my mouth.
Yeah.
But with the dark meat, I'm just eating it with the skin on, with the seasoning, and I'm good to go.
For sure. This is probably a hot take, but I'm a white meat guy. I do like my white meat, but that's assuming that the turkey is cooked well. That it's cooked well, dude, and that it's juicy. Juicy white meat for me is
juicy white meat is
I do love my juicy white
amazing.
Meat. Yeah.
and that's why I out of respect for the deliciousness of it and the variety, I get like one nice big piece of it.
Yeah.
But when it's juicy, man, it slaps.
It does.
I will always include a piece of white meat.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the texture. I can't explain it exactly, but I like the texture of juicy white meat a bit more than dark meat.
Dude, if you had a professional chef who was making turkey for you on the regular and making you deli sliced turkey for your sandwiches, you would be in heaven.
Oh, man. Absolutely. Say less.
Like out of
yes.
like an actual roast breast.
Yeah.
Like cutting. Oh man, I think I'm salivating.
Yeah, dude. I'm getting real hungry. This is a hungry cast.
That would be because that's where that texture really hits.
Exactly.
Like when you're getting down to that level of sandwich meat.
Yeah.
Even though it's almost like a waste. But have you ever had cold Thanksgiving turkey? Like make it a sandwich with it, and just cold or hot. But I've done cold. I've done both, but I can do cold.
Yeah,
I can eat cold leftovers in a very broad spectrum, which I think is not common. A lot of people prefer to not do that.
Some people like it.
I definitely will acknowledge that heating them up brings out more of the flavor and sometimes texture.
Right.
But for some reason, there's something kind of low key, like lazy and soothing about eating cold leftovers.
Yeah.
So just cold turkey meat on bread with like a hefty serving of salt. Have you ever had a sandwich like that?
No, that sounds good though.
Maybe a little bit of cranberry sauce on there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask you about that cranberry sauce. That's a polarizing one at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Some people swear by it, and some people don't. I personally like it. Cranberry sauce for me was one of those things that I developed a taste for over time. I used to hate it and avoid it like the plague. I was like, that's disgusting. And then at some point I was like, this is nice. It cuts some of the
it's
the
a
sodium.
balanced counterpoint.
Definitely. Yeah. Unlike candied yams.
Yes.
Like candied yams or sweet potato pie, like that doesn't do it for me in terms of, it's not good.
It doesn't
for
balance
balancing.
the scale.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it more rich.
I originally did not like cranberry sauce. And there was sort of a tipping point, I would say in like my late teens, maybe like early 20s, late teens, where suddenly mustard made sense.
Just straight yellow mustard?
No.
Like a Dijon or a...
Like a Dijon or stone ground mustard, but never yellow mustard because the vinegar is too much.
Right.
But suddenly mustard made sense. I've never made peace with ketchup. We're still enemies.
Yeah. I've never even seen mustard at the Thanksgiving table.
I'm just talking in general, like in terms of a shift in flavors and tastes.
Right.
So all of a sudden mustard started hitting, cranberry sauce started hitting.
Yeah.
A variety of taste profiles kind of changed. And the cranberry sauce, I pretty much am gonna just get it on my turkey.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
mix it with anything else.
Pretty much, yeah. I tend to segregate my Thanksgiving plate pretty heavily.
That's the other big thing is like some people are separatists.
Some people need omni bites.
Yeah.
Some people, they gotta have like a perfect proportion of each thing per bite.
Right.
For satisfaction.
Yeah.
I prefer one or two things per bite.
Yeah.
And I'll rotate.
I knew a guy who like couldn't have any of his food mix or touch. Like on a plate, like all the sides would be as far away, like on the edges of the plate, as to not touch each other.
Somebody like that really needs to just get like cafeteria style
just
platter where it's got physical barriers.
Exactly. Yeah. Which
I don't understand why people, because I know there's people out there who are like, can't have my food touched. It just ruins the whole thing.
Right.
Like, why do you not just get dinner service that has barriers? Like, get a Berlin Wall for each of your food groups.
Yeah. I caught some drama between the dishes, between the sides, either to conflict. But I love mixing my food. I'm definitely an omnibite type, where especially at Thanksgiving, like everything just meshes so well together.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of turkey, stuffing, mashed
Thanksgiving
potatoes.
leftover sandwiches. You ever do those?
Yes, absolutely. On
Because
a roll.
that's omni-bite on a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I basically just turn
my
my Thanksgiving meal into like a salad. I just mix it all. I've done that before where it's like it's a bowl.
I think I saw
So good.
somebody on YouTube probably just took like a Thanksgiving dinner, like a plate, and just put it into a blender,
Yeah.
and they were like, it's still good.
Yeah.
Like the
yeah.
texture is different, but it's still good. It still tastes like Thanksgiving.
Mel and I were talking about this. We're like, why hasn't someone like created like a like pho is a really popular like Vietnamese noodle soup dish.
Yeah.
But we're like, why hasn't there been a business that does like on the go pho and like basically just serve it in a cup, and then you just drink it. Like you have to dice all the ingredients small enough so that it can go through a straw, like a boba straw, like a thick straw. And so like on your way, like on the morning commute to work or whatever, you can just have a cup of pho that you just sip on. I don't know if that'd be a weird sensation to drink that out of a straw, but I feel like that could work. I don't know.
There's definitely a market for stuff like that.
And you could call the business. I came up with this. I'm very proud. Pho Cup. Just call it Pho Cup.
There's so many things you can do with fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not going to be subtle.
Yeah. Yeah. In Vegas, one of the best pho places there by the strip is called Pho Kim Long. It's great. It's so good. You're like, oh, that's a gimmicky name. This place is going to suck. Some of the best pho around.
Okay. So there's a YouTuber, Steve 1989 MRE Info. And he is a fabulous guy. I think I've probably mentioned him in the past, but he goes and finds historic like military rations.
Yeah. MREs,
but he'll get into like a whole survival kit for like a life raft from 1943.
Oh wow.
And it's like it belongs in a museum. Like
damn.
He goes through it meticulously. And then he's like, yeah, and then it's gonna be on display at this museum. Thanks for whoever, for letting me go through it.
Wow.
But a lot of the stuff he just straight up eats it. He like will prepare it, and he's had like 100-year-old plus food before.
Damn, that's still totally fine.
But
does he ever like crack one open that's like 80 years old? And he's like, holy crap, this is completely rotten.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then sometimes he'll get stuff that's surprisingly, shockingly old, and maybe some or rarely all of it is still edible, or maybe even like it was because temperature makes such a difference, like how it's stored.
Yeah, sure.
So if it was stored at ideal conditions, almost indefinitely, especially with stuff like crackers, they can just last such a long time. But
yeah,
notably, he did some reviews for very rare rations that were for I want to say U-2 pilots. So that's a spy plane.
Yeah,
it flies at a very high altitude. The pilots have to wear pressure suits.
Right.
So basically, you're almost talking about like astronaut food.
Wow.
So what it was is these tubes, metallic tubes of food that's in sort of a liquid form, and you have to punch a straw in there, and then there's a port in the pilot's helmet they can put the straw through, and then sip basically their food.
Yeah.
And there was like caffeinated chocolate pudding.
Right.
There was pizza.
Nice.
It was impressive, like the variety of rations, and he was like with the pizza one, it had like a little bit of texture to it. Like you have to suck it through a straw, right? So
Sure.
you can't have big chunks in there.
Right.
But somehow they managed to engineer it with like detectable little nodules of doughy stuff or cheesy stuff,
Gotcha.
or like pepperoni-ish chunks.
So there's some substance to it.
Yeah.
It's like gooey enough or soft enough for
you can squeeze it through a tube.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not just like a gel. It actually has a little chew to it, basically.
Gotcha. So it's like it's blended but not pureed.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. So that's that kind of approach,
Yeah.
I think could be, to get back to your fuck up idea.
Yeah.
Could be possibly the approach. Like, cause with a concept like that, you could probably just have a spectrum. Like you can have 5 different consistencies where you're trying to go. 5 is like maximum like closeness to the original experience of eating pho.
Right.
And then 1 is,
liquid,
almost a puree basically.
Yeah.
But then if you're gonna go for that niche, then you can just fully squat on it.
Right.
By occupying the whole spectrum of sort of mouthfeel, texture, scenarios.
And I never even thought about the concept of like pilots need to eat. Like sometimes they're in the sky for like a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think about like how do they get hungry up there.
Yeah, so they have
got to find a way.
Like,
do they have? I'm guessing they do. Probably like a way to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Do they? Can you shit in like a fighter jet, or like in one of those aircraft?
Depends. Like for example, with I want to say a B2. I think they have actually like a small little restroom facility.
Interesting.
Like it's I'm sure extremely Spartan, but it's enough to eliminate waste, both liquid and solid.
Yeah.
And not have like something that you have to tote out after with you, like a wag bag or something.
Right. I'm comfortably okay with that. If I was a pilot, I'd be all right with that because it's like it's private.
But
it's not like you're sharing it with a bunch of other dudes.
For most pilots, I think they have to probably for longer missions have a catheter or have some kind of tactical diaper.
Yeah.
And also eat like low residue meals, which is like steak and eggs.
Right.
So basically, have a meal or two that digest down to very little bulk.
Right.
So that you're not having to relieve yourself.
Yeah. You don't want to do crazy diarrhea in the air. That's got to be nuts.
Where worse to do crazy diarrhea?
Unless there's like there should be a chute that just drops it. Like especially if you're already dropping bombs on a town, you might as well just drop a little extra shit too.
You can't enhance bombs with feces. That's
why
a violation
not?
Of the
Why
Geneva
I
Convention.
disagree. I think that would be the ultimate terror weapon.
Actually, it's quite likely that if you really broke down to the nitty gritty, it is some violation of the Geneva Convention to not use feces in your weaponry.
Bombs are fine, but don't
logistically
put poop in it.
Think about the logistics of getting, solid waste out of a pilot into dropped ordnance.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of
the technology exists.
Contracting, companies that would salivate at the offer of contract to design and deploy that system. But
it's like while they're burning, while they're like, while your targets are on fire, breathing their last breath
like ass.
They'll also be like, "Oh, what's that smell?" Like that'll be the last thing they think before they die. And that's just kicking them while they're down.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
it sends
I like
a message.
Where your head's at.
It definitely sends a message.
But I feel like there's much simpler ways to just include some hydrogen sulfide in your explosive formulation or whatever. And,
yeah, that's probably true.
Just have some fart spray basically built into your ordnance.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That actually, you know what? I feel like that should be a thing. Like, it's friendly fire when it smells like ass. Because otherwise, like let's say you had some shells drop near you, like you typically, unless there's something really distinctive about the munition, like it could be from either red or blue side, right?
Right.
But if you just have all your base formulations of explosives have some fart powder in it, basically,
yeah,
then you're like, not only do you know when it's friendly fire, but you also know that the enemy is getting the worst of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's a twofold. 2 birds with 1 stone. I think you might be onto something there. Our next Shark Tank pitch. I was going to ask you one more topic on Thanksgiving. Have you experienced any cooking fails for the holidays? Whether it was for Thanksgiving or Christmas, whether in your family or elsewhere.
I've definitely ruined something before. I don't remember what it was. Oh, I think it was mashed potatoes. Oh, yeah. I had some mashed potatoes that came out really, really gluey. I ruined the starch and it just turned into glue.
It's usually like a product of over mixing it.
Over mixing it and also depends. Like there are certain potatoes that are very, very prone to that.
Yeah.
That are not really meant to be used for mashed potatoes. But then over mixing it.
Yeah.
Like I remember I used your immersion blender one time on some potatoes and they turned into just like I could have wiped that on the bottom of my shoes and walked up a wall with it.
Right. Yeah. I made the same mistake. I was like, I could do just mash by hand, but that's going to take forever. So to save time, I busted out the immersion blender. Like this is so much more efficient, but it's way too efficient to the point where it literally was just like hot glue.
Yeah.
It was just hot glue potatoes. I was like, I can't serve this. This is crazy.
I remember a long time ago, I was volunteering in a kitchen, and there was some kind of miscommunication. The person who I was working with was like, take all these potatoes and make mashed potatoes out of them. So I was like, that's a lot of potatoes. And they're like, just do it. I was like, okay. And I was peeling and cooking and mashing for like 4 or 5 hours. And by then they had left. Somebody else came in. And eventually they came around and they're like, why the fuck did you make so much mashed potatoes? And I was like, this is what they told me to make.
Yeah.
Like, that's way too much. So they were just like, and I was like, well, what about the excess? And they're like, just get rid of it. And I was like, that's wasteful.
Yeah. I'll take it to go.
I took a trash bag. So imagine being on a bus riding home with a trash bag full of mashed potatoes. Just put yourself in that.
That's so much
situation.
Mashed potatoes.
It was like,
how much of that did you even get through?
It's so little.
Yeah.
Like I was like, they're gonna go bad, and then I froze them, and then I was like, oh shit, freezing ruins mashed potatoes. So they,
right,
like 80% of them went to waste anyway.
Yeah.
But it was probably like a quarter of a trash bag full of mashed potatoes.
Dear
like double
Lord.
bagged them.
Dear Lord.
Yeah.
That's pretty sketchy. Just seeing a guy with a trash bag of mashed potatoes, you're like, I'm not going to sit next to this guy on the bus.
What?
Please avoid.
Yeah, exactly.
Avoid eye contact. This guy's insane.
You don't want to send. You don't like for whatever reason. If somebody has a bag of mashed potatoes, a trash bag full of mashed potatoes on the bus,
a trash bag.
They could be a totally nice person. You probably
don't judge them right away.
It's still probably best practice to not sit next to them.
I mean, anytime you see someone with a trash bag of any kind of food, I feel like that's a red flag. I don't know. It just seems like, what did you, like, what were you up to?
If you could buy food by the trash bag.
I mean, okay, mashed potatoes is probably not a good one because it goes bad so easily.
Yeah.
But if it was like a trash bag full of broth or something, that might be all right.
I was thinking spaghetti and meatballs. Because it's
that
like,
would work.
For some reason it kind of makes sense to have stupid bulky amounts of it.
Yeah.
Because it's so infinitely dividable.
True. Yeah.
I don't know.
Spaghetti, well, more so spaghetti was like my food of choice in college because it was cheap and it would last a long time.
Now,
you could make a lot of it, it would fill you up.
How are you preparing it?
Just in a pot.
No, I mean like were you just eating noodles? Did you have sauce? Like, what was going on?
I had sauce.
Okay.
It was spaghetti with marinara or whatever.
Okay.
But I remember my roommate at the time, David, he would just make it by the pot full and then just eat it straight out of the pot. He would just always be walking around the dorm with like a pot full of spaghetti.
I love it.
Like I remember like one time I don't know, I like fucked with him or something and he started chasing me around the dorm with this pot of spaghetti. And then we were just like flinging spaghetti at each other at some point. I was like, what is happening right now? This is madness.
That's great.
So there is a risk. There's a small risk involved when doing that.
I've heard some horror stories of people just eating buttered noodles.
Oh yeah, it's a popular one.
I've done that before.
We're all guilty of it. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, butter. I mean, it's just oil and fat
and carbs, dude. Delicious gluten of it all.
Dude, oh my God. Over the weekend, Mel and I, she was like she was talking about tater tots like a couple weeks ago. Mostly just lamenting that she didn't have any at the time.
Okay, that's a fairly lamentable situation.
So I bought like a big bag of them this weekend, and we made them, got them extra crispy, and then we were craving In-N-Out for some reason, like so hard. We were talking about In-N-Out, and we were like, oh, I want like animal style fries, but everything was closed. So we just made the mashed potatoes, and then like found a recipe online. She found a recipe for the sauce, like the Thousand Island sauce with like the relish and everything. We had all the ingredients, because my entire kitchen is just condiments. That's all I have. But I had every condiment.
It is condiment heavy.
I did have every condiment to make this sauce, and the sauce was so good. Like we both agree this is better than In-N-Out sauce. And we just doused these crispy tater tots with the sauce and just consumed it in one full go, and it was incredible. It was so good.
I don't much care for In-N-Out sauce.
Really?
I think maybe it's a little too vinegary. I don't know.
Are you not a Thousand Island person?
I don't think I'm a Thousand Island person.
Yeah, I got to be in the mood for it, but
it's just suspicious. Like how can you have 1,000 islands in one?
1,000 islands. One of them has got to be Epstein Island. One of them's a little sketchy. There's a couple islands in there that you don't fully agree with what's going on.
I don't know. It just I don't get the flavor profile of it. There's something that doesn't make sense to me in the flavor profile.
Well, you don't like ketchup, so it is basically like mayo and ketchup, based on the recipe that we made.
Okay.
It was like mayo, ketchup, garlic powder, relish, and some other seasonings. But yeah, you're not a ketchup fan. You're probably not going to like 1,000.
Yeah, that's probably it. It's probably
too much vinegar.
It's probably the ketchup.
Vinegar. It was so good, though. You put that on some fried potatoes, man. Makes those puppies sing.
Fried potatoes are truly a special thing when done right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when they're fried in bacon fat over a campfire.
God. Oh my goodness. Now you're just being greedy.
I'm just trying to seduce your stomach.
And I showed you that big basket of fries over there that I'm probably going to fire up in the air fryer right after this now.
Dude,
thanks.
Air fryers are pretty
they're godsend.
They're pretty awesome. Like people like to hate on them until they join the club, and then they're like,
yeah. I don't get the hate. I don't understand.
I think
it's like this just makes your life easier. It makes your food taste better than a microwave.
I think
it's so easy. It's easier than an oven.
At least for myself, I have sort of a tendency to if something's hyped up too much, I will kind of develop a dislike of it.
Right. Or at least a suspicion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was that way about air fryers. I was like, nah, these are too hyped up. They're too hip. I'm going to be a hater because it's easy. And then I encountered one and I used it and I was like, this is just a really fabulous tiny convection oven that gets work done super fast.
Yeah. And like the one I have is my mom got it for me, and it's like a nice one because it's got the racks, so it cooks evenly. Most air fryers are just like a basket.
The basket at the bottom is,
and you got to
not quite as good.
You got to toss it halfway through.
It depends on the
everything.
application.
Depends on the application, but
the fact that you can have yours with a little cylinder, a mesh cylinder, and put your tater tots in there and have them tumble.
Yeah.
Oh,
such a clutch move, dude. Genius.
It's great.
It's awesome.
And if you were really motivated, I think yours has a dehydrator function, right?
I don't know.
Dude, I made dehydrated food one time. It did not go well.
What did you dehydrate?
I made some kind of like a stew. Like it was white bean chicken chili. My mom has this incredible recipe for white bean chicken chili stew.
Damn.
It's like a cold weather classic.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. In fact, you know what? I should try to get you that recipe.
I would love that.
I bet you could make that and
what is when I think of dehydrating food, I think of like beef jerky or something. This is a different thing you're talking about?
It's okay, you know what freeze dried food is, right?
Yeah.
So dehydrating is trying to get something close to that, but with a much simpler setup where it's just dry warm air and time.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it was the first time I had ever attempted it, and I was just didn't really know what I was doing, but I was like thinking about it, and I was like, okay, most of the food that I get, like most of the food that you look at for camping is essentially dehydrated, but they freeze dry it, so it's super duper shelf stable.
Yeah.
And it reconstitutes very readily. But it's typically like stew and chili and stuff like that, or mac and cheese, whatever. Sometimes it's more complicated, but I was trying to go for simple, and I made a batch of this chili, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was like, you got to make it, run it on dehydrator until it's dry.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I did wrong, if I used too much heat or what, but it wouldn't rehydrate. It wouldn't reconstitute.
Yeah.
It was like
super dry.
Yeah, it was like watery, chewy gravel.
Ugh. Yeah.
And it had a good flavor, but the texture was just all wrong.
Right. Well, I've got some stories here from other Redditors that might make you feel a little bit better about that mishap.
Okay.
These are some classic Thanksgiving/holiday cooking fails from folks on the web. This is a good one. My grandmother. Yes. My grandmother thought she could save time by baking the turkey halfway at home, putting it in the car, and finishing the bake at their ski house. Everyone got food poisoning. Everyone. This was in the 80s, before I was born, but has become family legend.
Let me guess, it was like a 5-hour drive.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. I've rolled the dice on some sketchiness. Like, I actually about a month ago, I was making chicken breast. I put like 5 huge chicken breasts in the oven, cooked it, and then fell asleep. Woke up the next day, and they were still warm. They were still warm in the oven.
So you had set the oven on a timer.
Yeah.
And then fallen asleep. So they cooked, and then they just sat in the oven
sat there. Yeah.
As it slowly cooled.
Correct. And they were still warm when I woke up the next. It was like a full 8-hour sleep, and I debated tossing them out, but I thought, you know what? Let's roll the dice. And they were great.
You're still here.
I'm still here. No,
you don't have a
ailments.
colostomy bag.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
You did okay.
Yeah. So I've definitely rolled the dice on that.
Ooh, I thought you couldn't. I thought if you use a crock pot, you can't overcook food.
Ah.
And I did that with chicken breasts. I did chicken breasts. I was gonna make shredded chicken breasts.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep and then went to work and got back from work. So they were cooking for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I was poor at the time.
Sure.
And that was a lot of my protein budget right there.
Right.
I was like, well, you know, they're not going to make me sick because they were basically cooking, but they were so bad.
Was it just super hard and dry?
It was rubbery and brittle at the same time.
Oh man.
They were just dry. They were so dry.
Yeah. Did you still eat it all?
I did.
Yeah. I mean, when you're living check to check, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
I ate them, but I didn't. I made myself eat them.
Here's another one similar to your story. A coworker was going for high heat for her turkey. Distracted, not paying attention. Put the oven on self clean. Oven locked, and hours later, charcoal.
Oh,
self clean, because self clean is just like blasted to max temp, right?
Yeah, it's basically trying to burn off all the residue in the oven.
Right.
So there's no food
survivors.
that's gonna survive.
No survivors. Actually, did you hear about speaking of no survivors in an oven? Did you hear about the girl that got baked alive in a Walmart oven?
Yeah. A while back. Like this happened like over a month, maybe a month and a half ago at least.
Yeah, I don't think we ever talked about it, but I caught wind of it maybe just a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God. I first of all, I didn't even realize that they made ovens that big that you could walk into, like walk-in ovens. Mm-hmm. That seems like a terrible idea for obvious reasons. But how does that happen? Because apparently they were looking into it. The investigation is still going on because it can only be locked from the outside. This particular oven that she died in.
So typically stuff like that, you have safety interlocks.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what you're talking about. Like you can't. It's designed in a way where you cannot realistically have a scenario where you go inside and you personally cause it to activate and kill you.
Right.
That reminds me of a incident at a sterilizing facility where somebody was irradiated and ended up dying because
what?
Yeah, you can when you make packaged food.
Yeah.
You can irradiate it, and it does not make the food radioactive.
Yeah.
It just sterilizes it.
Okay.
And it takes something that would be like, say you have a can that would have a shelf life of, 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And essentially, I'm being very loose with numbers here, but it kind of 10x's it. So, now you have probably a 50-year shelf life.
And you irradiate it while it's in the can?
Yeah. All right.
Well, all right, sorry, we cut out there a little bit. The memory card ran out, so we had to redo. But you're talking about irradiation and basically how it just, if you irradiate a human, you basically just sort of, your DNA unravels and you lose your ability to just sort of function normally. Like your brain starts to just go.
Depends on the dose
sure.
and the time, but yeah, you could drop dead with a high enough dose.
Overall, would not recommend.
No, definitely something that is kind of existentially scary. I got scared of radiation in 2011.
Yeah,
and had to come to terms with that fear.
Yeah,
but it's.
Do you remember that time we were at the driving range? This is like in high school.
Oh yeah.
And you cracked open the exit sign. Mm-hmm. It took out a bunch of, what was it, like uridium?
No, it was just tritium.
Oh, tritium. So it's tritium tubes.
Yeah.
And I put them in my ears. I started wearing them as plugs.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's highly radioactive.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Oh, okay.
You just don't want to crack them open.
What happens?
You get a.
What's up with them?
Well, tritium is basically hydrogen but radioactive.
Okay.
So it's not something that is going to linger for a real long time.
Yeah.
But it's not good to be exposed to. If you inhale it, some of it will be sticking around your body for a while.
Yeah. I thought it was so cool sticking those in my ears. It's like, guys, I have radioactive plugs.
I mean, it is.
Everyone.
I originally in high school, I got very interested in little tritium vials you could get that are like a little radioactive, like it's like a glow in the dark doohickey that you can have on your keychain, but it just glows for not ever, but it can be dark for a week and it will still be glowing because it's not like powered by sunlight,
right?
Essentially,
right.
And I thought that was super cool. And then I was like, ooh, I'm going to play with this because I'm that kind of person. And I was like, I can crack this plastic casing open. I can just have this glass rod. And then I was like, oh, they're in exit signs. And then I happened to run into an exit sign that was, abandoned essentially. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get some. They're pretty worn out because they will basically lose about half their brightness every, 10 years or so. Yeah. But still, it's cool. I think.
And then you said you developed, after it got cut off, you said that you developed a great fear of radioactive stuff. Radioactivity.
Kind of, yeah. In 2011, I got real freaked out with Fukushima melting down.
Right.
And especially for a while there, I was very anxious about the spent fuel that was stored on site because they had even spent radioactive fuel, like it's not in the reactor anymore. It's just in a pool of water.
Right.
It's extremely radioactive and it's generating a lot of heat. Even though it's done, it's done cooking.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to cool off. So if there was a scenario where one of those cooling pools had, say, for example, lost containment and all the water dumped out,
right,
what could have potentially happened would have been catastrophic because the fuel itself could potentially have, if not kept cool, it would have heated up until it started to react with the atmosphere and oxidize and burn.
Oh, damn.
And then you would have this giant plume of burning radioactive fuel.
Right.
And that would have been like Chernobyl times something.
Jeez.
And that I was pretty worried about that for a while.
Yeah.
So I invested in a Geiger counter, and that was cool. I was like, what do I have that's radioactive?
Yeah.
Turned out I had two things that were radioactive. One of them was those little glass rods.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. These aren't supposed to be radioactive because tritium is not emitting gamma radiation. It's alpha or beta, I forget. It shouldn't be passing through the glass.
Yeah.
So I was like, why the hell is that happening? So I researched it and I found about something called Bremsstrahlung, which is, I thought this is pretty cool. And it's a German term for it. And so when you have alpha or beta radiation hitting matter, it can actually essentially knock loose a small amount of, I want to say gamma radiation.
Interesting.
So I was like, this tritium rod should not be emitting radiation, yet it is.
Yeah.
So I had to figure that out. And then I found the other thing that I had was a megalodon tooth.
Oh.
And it's
From a shark?
big ass fossilized shark tooth.
Where'd you get that?
At a hippy dippy like farmer's market / hippie market in Mount Shasta.
Damn.
And I was like, why the hell is this fossilized tooth radioactive? And it's a very interesting explanation. It's probably going to consume the rest of the time, so I don't want to know. I don't
That's
necessarily want to get into it right now.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I find it interesting. I don't know.
Did you end
would.
up tossing those things out, or you're like,
No.
because it's not like a dangerous amount?
No, I just didn't sleep with them next to my bed anymore.
Yeah.
So
could I have incurred some permanent damage from having them in my ears at one point? The tritium?
Not really. No.
Okay. All right. Cool. Because I was gonna say if that's it would
living in Boulder, Colorado would have exposed you to more radiation.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So when you or just taking a flight, like
yeah,
the atmosphere protects us from both stellar and just background cosmic radiation to a noticeable degree. So if you're at 10,000 feet, like just that added altitude puts your baseline dose rate of background radiation is substantially, noticeably higher.
Damn. I'm going to start flying with the window down. just to minimize that.
That's not how
exposure.
Any of that works.
That's not how it works. Okay. All right. Damn. It's good to be
also,
informed.
I think flying with the windows down is frowned upon, but
is it? I don't know. I feel like it depends on the situation.
Wait, when you say flying with the windows down,
like an airplane window, like if you have a window seat and the window's right next to you, like some people like it up, some people like it down. I mean, if you're trying to sleep, sometimes the sun is just like blinding, and it's like it's kind of rude to just open it up.
You were like, I'm gonna crack the window on an airplane.
Oh
like,
hell no!
Is he joking? Is he serious? I don't know what this guy.
There was that guy who like tried to open up the hatch on a flight. I think he was just trying to wreak havoc. I think he was just crazy.
Huh.
But I think they tackled him before he could do it. That would have been nuts, though. Just people flying out.
Like the emergency exit?
Yeah, like an emergency hatch.
You can't open those.
Oh, you can't?
No, the way they're engineered, you can't.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess he tried or whatever.
Yeah, if you have somebody trying to do that, obviously you have to restrain them.
Yeah.
But
that's a good design. They don't allow it.
The pressure difference between the inside of the plane and the outside of the plane keeps them locked in place.
I see.
Because they actually have to move inward.
Yeah.
A little bit before they can actuate. So the air pressure inside the plane is keeping them. It's like an invisible gorilla is just shoving them as hard as possible.
Makes sense.
Into their frame.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
So if you go nuts and you try to open an emergency exit while the plane is at altitude, you will be unsuccessful and
probably face a lot of jail time.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lady that recently that like didn't get arrested, but almost got arrested for not paying for like a tuna sandwich or something. She's on a flight and
Interesting.
like a 79-year-old woman. I think she ordered a tuna sandwich, but it was like frozen in the middle, so she like refused to pay for it. And then when they landed, they had like the cops around her and stuff. They didn't file any charges, but she was just like screaming like, "I'm getting arrested for a sandwich." It reminded me of a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. That's the first thing I thought of.
So when did you actually end up watching that? After
I did.
After I mentioned it.
So funny.
It's great. Right?
It's so funny. I'm like, where's this guy now? I need to be best friends with this guy. It's so funny. And it was hard to know if he was like being ironic or acting it out, or if he's just that kind of guy.
I think
because it seems so performative.
It's like
it's so funny.
Australian Kyle.
No, dude, I'd be crying. I'd be a little bitch. Like, I don't want to go to jail.
No, but he was also quite drunk.
Oh, okay, all right. That definitely explains things.
So
yeah,
you know,
and just had a nice vocabulary.
He did some fun English stuff. Yeah, no, that's a classic for a reason, man.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, I think there was one more. Sorry, there's one more Thanksgiving story.
Come on, make it a turkey fire.
It is. All right, this one's pretty fun. It was Thanksgiving morning, and I'd returned home from college for the holiday. We had about 20 people coming for dinner. I went up into the attic to fetch something that my mom needed. I slipped off one leg of the beams, and as I fell, one leg plunged through the sheetrock. I won't say what part of my body stopped the fall, but I let out a scream. So did my father. Of all the places he could have been, he was sitting in the chair right below me, now covered with part of the ceiling and dust. I was forced to explain the hole in the living room ceiling over and over as each guest arrived. That's awesome.
That is, wow. Yeah, I've almost done that. I had to run Cat 5 through my attic.
Yeah,
and I was not full grown, so I was relatively nimble.
Yeah.
And
so kids are for.
Yeah, exactly.
Send the kid up there.
I had to run Cat 5 down all the walls and yeah. So
it's a good thing that you were smaller, less heavy.
I actually had very explicit understanding of only step on wood.
Yeah.
Because I was made to understand that I would fall through the ceiling.
Yeah.
In some places that would be quite a fall. But also, I was made to understand to not step on any pipes.
Oh, yeah.
Because the sprinkler pipes, you step on those, you got a big problem.
Yeah.
We actually had a neighbor. There was this little bell on the outside of their house. I guess on probably all the houses in the development. That triggered when the sprinkler the fire sprinkler system was triggered.
Yeah.
And it was triggered by them accidentally stepping on and breaking a sprinkler pipe. Damn. It had a waterfall of water going down their stairs.
Oh, that's terrible.
And then another neighbor helped them turn off their water at the main, like by the street, so that shut everything down.
Nice.
But after that event, when I was doing this, I was given very, very explicit understanding of what could potentially happen, both to the house and to myself if I were to break a sprinkler pipe.
It's always funny when you see like little kids being put in these crazy situations. Like there was a kid who fell down a well, and like none of the adults, no full size adult could go down there to save him. So they sent another kid. Just sent another kid down to save the other kid, and he pulled it off. But I mean, some jobs are very dangerous, but only a child can do them. It's pretty funny.
As illustrated by Snowpiercer.
What did the kid do in Snowpiercer?
There was some part of the everlasting train engine that eventually wore out, and its function had to be replaced with a child.
Oh shit! I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's
there's
a
this
rough one.
wild video of this guy laying out and supporting this theory that Snowpiercer was essentially a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And it sounds bizarre on the surface of it. You're like, how are you going to pitch that?
Sure.
And then you watch it and you're like, this is making a weird amount of sense. Like I can start to see it I can start to see how this person came to
Right.
this conclusion. And it's a bit of a stretch,
Sure.
but their argument is well reasoned and supported by some good evidence.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can see that as a possibility.
I mean, that's why, like, that's the crazy thing about, like, conspiracy theories. You like at first glance, like, that sounds insane, and then you hear someone like actually offer their explanation for it, and you're like, no, I can't believe that. I can't fall for this right now. This is too convincing.
I want a compendium, like Wikipedia article of conspiracy theories that turned out to be real. Like not conspiracy theories, they turned out to be factual things.
Right.
That were for a while considered to be or spun as conspiracy theories.
I'm sure there's probably a lot.
I want a good solid like chunk of those.
Yeah.
Because, you read through those and you get a feel for how things can be spun or explained away as conspiracy theories when they are in fact reality.
Right.
And then that kind of gives you maybe a sense of what to look for in the future.
That'd be a good docuseries. Like every episode is a different conspiracy theory that was proved true.
I think we'd probably run out pretty quick, but I'd be interested to see how long we could run that.
I mean, we already know 9/11 was a hoax, so that one's out.
Dude, it was all kinds of a clusterfuck, and there's some very weird things that happened that day, but I can't put my finger on any particular explanation for it.
Yeah. It's too crazy.
And be like, yes, I solidly adhere to this side or that side of the argument.
Right. Yeah. And for the record, I was joking. I do not think 9/11 is a hoax.
I think it's important to set the record straight because
I feel like it was obvious, but you never, like on the internet, you have to clarify.
You say it in a confident enough tone, people are going to take it that way.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's our time, though, guys. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Make sure to like it and rate us on whatever platform you're listening or watching this on. We really appreciate it. It does help us with the SEO and the search rankings. So, yeah, go ahead and do that. And have a good Thanksgiving. Well, I guess we'll be back in one more episode before the big turkey day arrives. But, yeah, if you happen to be celebrating before then have a good one. And watch out for them candied yams. They'll get you.
I mean, or if you like them, then just embrace your yam demise.
No, if you like them, stop watching the show.